Namaste, Dandava Pranam. By the instruction and grace of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj, we're here reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 3, the Status Quo, Chapter 23, Chapter 16. Upari Upari Vinyasta Nilayeshu Pratak Pratak Shiptai Kasi Pubhikantam Aryanka Vyajanhasanai. The palace looked charming. The palace looked charming, with beds, couches, fans, and seats, all separately arranged in 7 stories. Purport. It is understood from this verse that the castle had many stories. The words upari upari vinyasta indicate that skyscrapers are not newly invented. Even in those days, millions of years ago, the idea of building many-storied houses was current. They contained not merely 1 or 2 rooms, but many different apartments, and each was completely decorated with cushions, bedsteads, sitting places, and carpets. Text 17. Tatra tatra vinikshipta anhasilpo pasobitam Mahamarakatastalya Justam Vidruma Vedibi. Its beauty was enhanced by artistic engravings here and there on the walls. The floor was of emerald with coral daisies. Purport. At the present moment, people are very proud of their architectural art, yet floors are generally decorated with color cement. It appears, however, that the castle constructed by the yogic powers of Kardama Muni had floors of emerald with coral daisies. 18. Trishu Vedruma Dehalya Vatam Vajra Kapatavat Sikaresh Vindranileshu Emakumbar Adhishritam. The palace was very beautiful, with its coral thresholds at the entrances and its doors bedecked with diamonds. Gold pinnacles crowned its domes of sapphire. (19) Chakshushmat Padmaragdrayer Vajrabitishu Nimritai Justam Vichitra Vaitanar Maharhema Toranai. With the choicest rubies set in its diamond walls, it appeared as though possessed of eyes. It was furnished with wonderful canopies and greatly valuable gates of gold. Purport. Artistic jewelry and decorations giving the appearance of eyes are not imaginary. Even in recent times, the Mughal emperors constructed their palaces with decorations of jeweled birds with eyes made of valuable stones. The stones have been taken away by the authorities, but the decorations are still present in some of the castles constructed by the Mughal emperors in New Delhi. The royal palaces were built with jewels and rare stones resembling eyes, and thus at night they would give off reflective light without need of lamps. 20. Amsa Parhavata Vratais Atra Tatra Nikujitam Kritriman Manyam Kritriman Manyamanarspan Adhiruyad Hiruyacha. Here and there in that palace were multitudes of living swans and pigeons, as well as artificial swans and pigeons, so lifelike that the real swans rose above them again and again, thinking them live birds like themselves. Thus the palace vibrated with the sounds of these birds. 21. Viharastana Vishrama Samvesha Pranganajirai Yatopaja Samrachitar Vishmapanam Ivatmana. The castle had pleasure grounds, resting chambers, bedrooms, and inner and outer yards, designed with an eye to comfort. All this caused astonishment to the sage himself. Purport. Kardama Muni, being a saintly person, was living in the humble hermitage, but when he saw the palace constructed by his yogic powers, which was full of resting rooms, rooms for sex enjoyment, and inner and outer yards, he himself was astonished. That is the way of a God-gifted person. A devotee like Kardama Muni exhibited such opulence by his yogic power at the request of his wife, but when the opulence was produced, he himself could not understand how such manifestations could be possible. When a yogi's power is exhibited, the yogi himself is sometimes astonished. 22. Idrigram tat pasyantim nati pritena chetasa sarva bhutasaya bijna pravochat kardamasvayam. When he saw Devahūti looking at the gigantic opulent palace with a displeased heart, Kardama Muni could understand her feelings because he could study the heart of anyone. Thus, he personally addressed his wife as follows. Purport. Devahūti had spent a long time in the hermitage, not taking much care of her body. She was covered with dirt and her clothing was not very nice. Kardama Muni was surprised that he could produce such a palace, and similarly his wife Devahūti was also astonished. How could she live in that opulent place? Kardama Muni could understand her astonishment, and thus he spoke as follows. 23. Nimhajasmin hrade biru vimanam idam aruha idam shukla kritam tirtam ashishham yappa kamnirnam. My dear Devahūti, you look very much afraid. First, bathe in the lake Bindu Saravar, created by Lord Vishnu himself, which can grant all desires of a human being, and then mount this airplane. Purport. It is still the system to go to places of pilgrimage and take a bath in the water there. In Vrindavan, the people take baths in the Yamuna. In other places, such as Prayag, they take baths in the river Ganges. The words Tirtham Asisham Yapakam refer to the fulfillment of desires by bathing in the place of pilgrimage. Kardama Muni advised his good wife to bathe in the lake Bindu Saravar so that she could revive the former beauty and luster of her body. 24. Stadbhartuhu samadaya vachakuvala yekshana sarajam bibrati vaso vinibhutamscha mordajan. The lotus-eyed Devahūti accepted the order of her husband. Because of her dirty dress and the locks of matted hair on her head, she did not look very attractive. Purport. It appears that Devahūti's hair had remained uncombed for many years and had become complicated in tangles. In other words, she neglected her bodily dress and comforts to engage in the service of her husband. 25. Angam cha mala pankena sanchanam shabalhastanam avivesha sarosvatya sarhashiva jalashayam. Her body was coated with a thick layer of dirt and her breasts were discolored. She dove, however, into the lake which contained the sacred waters of the Saraswati. 26. Shantasharasi vishmasta Satani dasa kanyaka sarvaki shora vayaso dadarshotpala gandhaya. In a house inside of the lake, she saw 1,000 girls, all in the prime of youth and fragrant like lotuses. 27. Tam dristva sahasrotaya prochu pranjalaya striya vayam karma karistubhyam sadhina karavamakim. Seeing her, the damsels suddenly rose and said with folded hands, "We are your maidservants. Tell us what we can do for you." Purport. While Devahūti was thinking of what to do in that great palace in her dirty clothes, there were at once, by the yogic powers of Kardama Muni, 1,000 maidservants prepared to serve her. They appeared before Devahūti within the water and presented themselves as her maidservants, simply awaiting her orders. 28. Snanena tamaharhena snapayit vamanasvinim dukule nirmale nutne tadur asyai chamanada. The girls, being very respectful to Devahūti, brought her forth, and after bathing her with valuable oils and ointments, they gave her fine new spotless cloth to cover her body. 29. Bhushanani pararjani varihamsi dumanticha anam sarva gunopetam panam chaivamritasavam. They decorated her with very excellent, valuable jewels, which shone brightly. Next, they offered her food containing all good qualities and a sweet, inebriating drink called asavam. Asavam, purport. Asavam is an Ayurvedic medicinal preparation. It is not a liquor. It is especially made from drugs and is meant to improve metabolism for the healthy condition of the body. Text 30. Atadarshe svam atmanam shragvinam virajambaram virajam kritasvastyayanam kanyabir bahu manitam. Then in a mirror she beheld her own reflection. Her body was completely freed from all dirt, and she was adorned with a garland, dressed in unsullied robes and decorated with auspicious marks of tilak. She was served very respectfully by the maids. 31. Snatam krita shirasnanam sarvabharana bhushitam nishkagrivam valayinam hujat kanchana nupuram. Her entire body, including her head, was completely bathed, and she was decorated all over with ornaments. She wore a special necklace with a locket. There were bangles on her wrists and tinkling anklets of gold about her ankles. Purport. The word Kritashirashnanam appears here. According to the Smriti Shastras, directions for daily duties. Ladies are allowed to bathe daily up to the neck. The hair on the head does not necessarily have to be washed daily because the mass of wet hair may cause a cold. For ladies, therefore, taking a bath up to the neck is ordinarily prescribed, and they take a full bath only on certain occasions. On this occasion, Devahūti took a full bath and washed her hair very nicely. When a lady takes an ordinary bath, it is called malasnana, and when she takes a full bath, including the head, it is called shirasnana. At this time, she needs sufficient oil to smear on her head. That is the direction of the commentators of Smriti Shastra. And thus ends our reading for today. We'll continue from text 32 on Wednesday. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Shanta Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Our glories to the assembled devotees, our glories to the worldwide devotees, Sama Bhakti Veda Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Nishringapali Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Ju Ki Jai. Ganga Mai, Yamuna Mai, Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham, Ki Jai, Giri Govardhan, Gupta Govardhan Dham, Ki Jai, Shyam Kund, Radha Kund, Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi, Bhakti Devi, Vrinda Devi, Ki Jai. Jai Srimad Bhagavatam, Ki Jai, Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagya, Ki Jai, Scientific Sankirtan Yagya, Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari 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 Bol. Hare Krishna.